HeroScapers! Okay, it's recording, and... Hello, and welcome back. I am Joe Crazy, and today we're back at it at ScapeCon with my opponent, Matt. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great.
That's awesome. We are at... I forgot what folder. I grabbed this file out of... What event was this?
I'm not 100% sure. Looks like we both have Maros, though, so...
I gotta check what folder I grabbed this. Good old days, that's it.
Yes. Looks like you might have stingers and I have stingers. This is probably a pretty good one.
Yeah. Don't remember the name of the map either, which I'll look up and put on the screen. There's work for your future, Joe. I got it. I got work for you.
Editor Joe, put your editor hat on for that part, right?
Well, it's the same hat, so I don't...
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I got hounds, Meeburg-Saw, Negok-Saw, and stingers. You got some stingers, Major Q10, and was that it? I don't remember what I missed out on.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I mean, I think both of us, when we were there, we both played a lot of Maro stuff.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing too, because I've definitely mentioned this in previous uploads. But my whole goal was to bring all Maro, like a 100% Maro army, and I thought I was gonna be the unique. By all means, that was not unique.
Well,
oh, you had Meeburg-Saw too. Okay.
Yeah, we both have Meeburgs. I wonder if they go up against each other at some point. I don't remember this one.
Like I said, I remember the outcome. I just don't remember how we got there.
Yeah.
So I'm generally curious. So I got the initiative glyph with the hounds. I got a good roll off on the hounds, which is great. You're coming in to retaliate.
Yeah.
With the stingers.
It's an interesting board. So I think what I've told you before, I primarily play with my family at home and stuff like that. And I didn't have to kill a jungle at the time.
Okay.
So a lot of different rules, as you know, when you play with there at ScapeCon as opposed to home. Same with the shadow tiles. But there were a lot of new rules. Oh, I popped that guy right off the cliff.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's actually interesting. That's an interesting take because at this point we at least had the bushes. We didn't have the trees yet, but we had bushes. So we were familiar with that cover rule. And we had the shadow. But yeah, I can't imagine coming to ScapeCon and seeing all this new terrain and go, what does this do? What does that do?
Oh, well,
does this do anything?
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's just the grass tile. Oh, I wasn't sure.
Same with the white tiles too, the dungeon tiles.
Yeah.
I never had that set either. But for Christmas though, I did end up getting to kill a jungle. I mean, that was a must after ScapeCon.
Sure. Yeah.
The hounds. The hounds are really cool too. I never played with them, but a lot of people played with them too. You're right. I was so surprised how many people play Maro. I thought they're the bad guys. Nobody played with them. I was super surprised.
Well, you know what it is? What I learned is that they are the most literally fleshed out army in the entire of HeroScape. It is the one faction that had the most complexity to that army. So there's a lot of them. And there's a lot of army combinations, a lot of play styles within that faction. So I think it just has that fun and uniqueness to it.
Right, and they all mold together. How they say that it's good to play axe grinders because they bond with other players. All the Maras kind of work together depending upon what kind of army.
Sure.
I've learned since the stingers. They're one of my favorite figures to use for sure. Besides, they look cool. They have pretty strong themselves. I know a lot of people aren't big stinger fans, but And what do you know what that glyph was? The initiative, right?
Yes. Yeah, that is initiative, and then we have Lovena on the other side, which is initiative, unique +1. So only unique characters would get a buff to their attack.
Okay, what's the glyph that gives you an extra one for rolling the 20-sided dice?
The lucky 20-sider. I forgot the actual name.
Because I found that's really good with the stingers, or anyone
Oh
that's rolling.
yeah.
Because Tamara's rolled a 20-sided dice, probably more than any other.
Oh yeah, no. And you realize too that actually with that glyph, that actually works towards your initiative as well.
Oh, okay.
Wow, you cleaned up the hounds pretty well.
Yeah, they were in my way. I mean, Burks is awesome too. So you have stingers too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So did you, when you play? I know I've watched a lot of the Utz Cop stuff with you and your friends and stuff. Do you play
Sure.
a lot of the ScapeCon rules?
Well, after EscapeCon, yes.
Okay.
But before EscapeCon, I did do some practice games with Glenn. So I had a little bit of an idea because I did have to test run some of my armies before I play with them, to get used to like that combination, that play style. Because before that, we played with the point value of 360 only.
Interesting.
Only because when I was recording games, I found that at this point, this was my thought process. Now it's much different. But at the time, having 360, it was like, okay, cool, small armies. It still had enough for you to put a lot into that army. But it was the time. It took us, an hour or two to play a game, and that was fun, especially when recording.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to have these long games that I'm recording. So what's happening now, I'm realizing it's not really the point value that keeps the game longer, it's the map.
That's true too. Because see how the maps are set up with a little bit of height everywhere. That's the thing
Yes.
else that we didn't do at home. It was
They don't
yeah.
they don't go any higher than 4 tiles.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I did a lot of studying on ScapeCon maps and competitive maps, and one thing I found was they do not go higher any than 4, mostly because of the rules that they have set in place when it comes to building a map. They only use a certain amount of terrain. For example, this one uses a swamp base. They use T'Challa Jungle and Dungeon. That's 3 master sets. So that's all the tiles that you get to use. You don't use anything more than what those 3 use.
Okay.
Not to say that the only way for you to build a good competitive map is to use 3 master sets. No. You can still build a really good competitive map with 1 master set. But to be able to add in all these other expansions and other things, it's like you don't want to use all of them to make a good one. You don't have to.
But the base
plus,
is primarily 3 master sets, is what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying you have to use 3. I'm just saying this map uses 3, yes.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you though, I had a blast at ScapeCon. And the people there were amazing. Such
Oh,
friendly
people were amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, was it Michaela and is Glenn?
Yeah.
Great people, really nice people. Shout out to them, I guess you say, or whatever. But
Yeah, I'm actually really happy they came. I was really glad that because I've never really traveled out of state like that by myself. So
you're definitely a Jersey boy.
I'm more like a mother's boy. Like I stay at home. I don't really go in. I don't travel. I've never traveled outside without my parents. So it was like this was kind of my first being that adult. So I needed some backup.
Yeah, definitely. That's good backup to have. Two great.
Yeah.
But it's neat. Like, I think a lot of hopefully I performed better at ScapeCon than I did this year. Got a lot of learning and strategy, I guess, will come second. But I think, for most part, I just rush in and attack.
Well, that's something I learned a lot too. Is you don't just because it says move a 5 doesn't mean you have to move all 5.
Right, exactly.
Take advantage of the idea of, especially when it comes to moving ranged units, is make sure that you move them enough just so that they have someone to attack within that range. Try to keep them as far as possible away. Obviously, when it comes to melee units, different story. Get them in there. Unless you're dealing with like a situation like, for example, Marcus and the Roman Legionnaires.
Yeah.
You pot them up. Potting obviously works is a different strategy where you have to keep them as close to their buff character, their character that would buff them, and have them kind of like walk around as a pod.
Yeah, I was watching your game you had recently with Tommy. Forget his name on the board, Silver Hawk or something like that. I don't know.
Mega Silver, yes.
Mega Silver, that's what it is. That was a great example of potting up the way he was doing that. That was really interesting to watch that. Tell you something else I definitely learned from ScapeCon is rats are so much better than I originally ever thought they were. I don't even know if I owned the rats until I.
You definitely need at least 2 times rats to play with them. We only have 1, and we're like, oh, they're good. They're good with 1 squad, but must be incredibly annoying with 2.
Oh yeah, did you play anybody that was playing?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, that's a shame. That'd be a great video because I honestly always thought they were junk because they're little rats. But,
I don't think you understand the scatter. you didn't understand scatter that much.
Not now. I do now.
Yeah.
Playing it's so frustrating. Interesting seeing all the different people play, all the armies, different armies.
But I like what you're doing here. Is you're just making sure that when you do use your stingers, to get them on that height. Take advantage of your surroundings and make sure that if you can, keep me in its place. Don't make me move any more than I need to.
Right, and as you can see, as I played more and more throughout the week, now I'm getting my guys close to the bush. I'm putting one in the shadow. That's stuff, and the other guy on the height. A lot of stuff you learn as you're playing. I remember I played versus somebody. I think they had all hands. That was tough. Burks is a great character.
Did I just say he's gonna trot and then do clopping noises?
He's a pony. He doesn't look like a pony I've ever seen.
My little me Berksaw. That's
that's an ugly My Little Berksaw, I'll tell you that.
My little me Berksaw.
How many people do you think were there at ScapeCon?
There was at least, I think it was about 56 or something, 57. Because I think ScapeCon 3 opened up their gates to about 60-something this year.
Yeah, I saw it was a lot more.
They added like 10 more just to try to fit everybody in. And even that, there's people on a waiting list. Yeah.
I'm wondering if the hotel's going to have to be something else going further.
Yeah, no idea.
The thing that stunk this year was AOA, not getting funded or whatever.
Of course.
That would have just skyrocketed.
Yeah. No, it definitely gave a boost of attention. It definitely did. Obviously not as big as we thought, but it still gave a lot of people like, oh yeah, HeroScape, that's still a thing. Good. I'm glad
Right.
people are still playing that.
Well, it was also awesome because I couldn't wait for the updates from either like you or Sir HeroScape or
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what's the Tales of Valhalla guy? What's his name?
Ryan.
Ryan. He's a great guy too. I
Yeah.
liked his updates and everything. So it was like almost at lunch every day. I would watch the day before's updates. So,
Yeah. No, it was fun waking up every morning like, oh, what new unit are
yeah,
we looking at
what's out
today?
there, right?
So I can't imagine a world right now where that we could technically that could still happen. You know, I hope one day that could be a thing.
It might. You never know. But
Yeah.
listen, with C3V and SOV or whatever you call them,
Oh yeah.
that keeps the game going. And all I'm gonna say is I'm gonna probably have to learn how to paint figures
Hmm.
at some point. Um, but yeah, that keeps it going.
Absolutely. Yeah. The customs community is just phenomenal, just truly phenomenal, and I'm just so glad to see that it's still gonna go, and they're making as the smartest decisions that they can to keep this game thriving. In the sense that the units, the characters, I should say, the figures themselves that they are picking are or figures from games that are actually still going on,
Yeah.
just to keep the longevity of getting those units easier.
Well, I like how now I don't know if they always did it, but if they plan on like a set of a certain Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, whatever it may be, they kind of give you a heads up and say, "Hey guys, go out and buy this now because we're going to use it." Like a Gold Dragon was just released.
Hmm.
I bought him because it would, you look up on HeroScape and they say there's some future release. So
Yeah,
some of the stuff is crazy to find.
yeah. I
Yeah,
bought
here's
Caligrith too.
yeah, he's awesome. He'll be interesting. This is interesting here. That your Berks are moving in, right? Yeah.
Yeah, my goodness, what happened? I, s- I got an insurance hound? Why did I leave it a hound bag? That's weird.
Isn't it interesting when you watch these back and you realize, like, why did I have him back there?
Oh yeah. Well, that's where my main goal with recording all these games was to learn from them. Like I know I'm gonna mess up. I know I'm gonna lose. So if I'm gonna learn something from this. And
Absolutely.
I feel like every game so far I've learned something. And I'm definitely after I do all these games, I'm gonna do like this long video talking about what I learned from each of those games to compile a list of like tips to give to the community. Be like, hey, this is what I learned. This is things that you should look out for. Things are the not obvious ones, like, oh, make sure that your characters are on height advantage. Like that's obvious. That's the
Yeah,
game.
right.
But definitely with this, it's like use your surroundings to your advantage. If your characters are on, if there's shadow nearby, make sure that spot is filled. You know, if there's a bush nearby and you're not, a huge character, make sure that they're next to that bush.
Yeah, get up there. So what got you? Were you always into HeroScape? Or did you get back into it at one point?
So, I don't remember the year, but um, obviously it had to be at least 9 years ago, where my friends and I finally started doing game night, and we eventually played a game called Risk Legacy. That was the game that got us back together. And so, with that in mind, after that we had completed Risk Legacy, we were like, what do we do next? And I reached out to Glenn and I said, hey, do you remember HeroScape? I found it in my basement and, we should play. He's like, yeah, we should play that. And so we had an infamous game that we played for the first time with his girlfriend, and at the time, not my girlfriend, but Jillian. And I mean, we had an absolute blast. It was just a 1v1v1 battle. We all played. We all broke the rules. We had no idea what was going on. Trust was betrayed, I will say. I made an alliance and broke that alliance.
That's a good family game.
Yeah, it was like a Monopoly game at that
Yeah,
point.
right. Monopoly
It
can
was
get
like,
pretty
please
dirty
don't
in a
attack
family
me.
game.
I won't attack you, and then I attacked.
I have a story like that. My youngest son, we were playing HeroScape years and years ago. 'Cause that's how I originally got into it, was buying it for them. And he's like, "Listen, Dad, move all your guys," because we didn't play in it. We were actually originally played on the other side when we first started playing the easy side or whatever you want to call it. And he's like, "All right, move all your guys to the left and right, and I'm gonna bring my army up through, and then I'm gonna attack my older son, his army, and then you can come behind me." So I said, "All right, cool, no problem." So he moved all of his units right in between my armies, and then on his next turn just slaughtered my entire armies, betrayed me right then and there.
Oh no! Oh jeez.
See if you get him here. You got a couple mine shackles. I remember you saying.
Did I got a mind shackle?
Not this game. I just remember you saying that through the tournaments.
If I have, I don't think I got to that game
Maybe it
yet.
wasn't you then. Maybe it was somebody else I'm thinking of. Because there's nothing better than when you mind shackle somebody. Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah, no, it's so satisfying. Because every time you roll, you're like, it's always like you hope for it.
So you think you would, if you go again, would you do Mars again? Have you learned any other arm? I know you were talking about you used the Cowboys at one point, or
Yes.
Lawmen or whatever.
Yes.
Is that your
Oh, I
thing?
love the Lawman. Yeah, it's funny that you asked that because the event that I'm going to in March, at this point, this game is going to be in April. So the event that I already had went to, hoping that I did well, I would have taken more Morrow. I do have dividers now. I have Morrow
Nice.
dividers.
Alright.
I had ordered 4 squads of 3D printed Morrow dividers that I had Glenn paint for me, and he finally finished them, and that's what I wanted to take and play with. So,
Listen, there's nothing like the 3D printed stuff too.
oh,
I'm
that's the
looking at
future.
getting 3D printed spiders because they're just too much too.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're not officially. I don't actually think or believe that. I shouldn't say that, but I should say that getting things 3D printed and painting them yourself or having them painted by somebody is way more worth it than spending the extra money to get the official unit.
Well, yeah, right. And when I went there the first time, I was like, oh, I need to have all official units, or these guys are going to be like, they don't count.
Yeah, no.
But a lot of people have 3D printed stuff.
I think what matters the most, to at least when it comes to competitive play, it's making sure that you have at least the exact model.
Yeah.
It's the pose. I wanted to bring a proxy of a unit to ScapeCon, and I reached out to Mike Schrober, and I said, hey, I have a proxy. I sent him an image of it. Would this be acceptable? And he's like, no, not really. Like, the pose is all off. Like, one arm's supposed to be one way. Both arms are a different way. Like, if someone else brings that unit, then that's, like, unfair, whatever. And so I get that. I totally understand that. Obviously, when it comes to what you play at home, do whatever. Use a pencil or a paper clip or something for a unit. Doesn't matter. But, when you come to competitive play, at least have, an appropriate model. And I think with Trexie 3D, or maybe some of the Etsy stores that have 3D printed models, like, absolutely, like, that's the future. Like, we need to make sure that keeps going, no matter what.
Absolutely.
You know what's interesting here? Even though you're essentially allowing me to get the extra attack on you, having Q10 on the shadow is probably just as good because you're getting the extra defense.
Right, but see, the other thing I didn't understand was, like, I keep bringing other units up and switching them. A lot of times, like when you were sticking with all the hounds in the beginning. I
Mm.
keep switching my guys where sometimes it's better to just continue the attack with one unit or one guy. Like I
Yeah.
probably should have. I don't know why I'm bringing my Berks up here when I should have
No.
just kept with that's Q10 or Q9, whichever one that one is. I get them mixed up. Um,
No, I mean your army's totally fine. I think right now your issue is that I did take up a lot of your time and your effort with the hounds. I just had way more units.
yeah,
I literally overpowered your entire army with the amount of units I had, and that's what you kind of do with the Morrow. Um, but even so, with a lot of your stingers, you even though you locked all of my hounds in, but the Morrow Plague was able to take them apart.
yeah, you did really, yeah,
So putting them adjacent, at one point could have been a good idea, but they have range. There was never any reason to engage
exactly.
with the
And
hounds.
there are things you learn is that
Right,
stay away from them, back up, shoot. Why get close to them when you don't have to? There's no need
right.
to. And that's a lot of things you start to take away from. Like I said, you watch these, you learn from them. I'm already seeing a few mistakes that I made, which is really interesting. That's a good matchup right there, these two guys.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great matchup. They go back and forth for a while here.
Yeah, probably. They're both the one. He's great too, Nagata.
Yeah, I have to redo my YouTube banner, so I have Negox on the banner somewhere.
Yeah, because he's like
Because
the guy.
you know how I'm not gonna do the thumbnail because the thumbnail is obviously gonna not the thumbnail. The profile picture is gonna be the Joe Crazy face,
Right.
but on the banner I gotta have something HeroScape related. And if I'm gonna have HeroScape, I'm gonna have Negox because if Sir HeroScape is gonna have Sonlin, and then Ben MK Plus Ultra is gonna have I don't remember the name of that unit, but that Cyclops character as their profile picture, then I gotta have someone to symbolize me as. And if I
Yeah.
had to have anybody, Negox Saw is my spirit animal.
He's
So
definitely. I agree with you. That's your boy right there.
yeah,
Have you heard from Ben?
I've reached out to him a couple times. I have not heard back from him. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, I know he had a baby.
Yes.
I'm just wondering. I haven't seen any content from him, but I can imagine. What
No, he had a he got because he was home because of the baby, so his work had shifted back to nights. So I think it's just him being really busy with work. So, but like I said, I'm gonna try reaching out to him again because I still have a game that I have to record with him. I was able to verse him at ScapeCon. So
I thought you guys played each other. That would be like the two of the content players going up against each other. Would be pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, I was hoping to fight Sir HeroScape at some point and talk to him more, but I just never got a chance to. So
Great guy, by the way. I used to watch his videos, and my kids are all grown. They're at the time they were probably 20, 19, 24, something like that. And they would come home at night, and I'd be watching Sir HeroScape videos on the TV through app
oh, that's
like
awesome.
that. So they were joking with me. They're like, "You got to get a picture with Sir HeroScape when you go to ScapeCon." So I thought that was funny because I ended up getting a picture with him, and it was kind of weird asking another guy, "Hey man, you mind if I take a picture with you?" But it was cool.
I don't think that's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was great because that's how I got to ScapeCon. My kids, for a Father's Day present, they sent me to ScapeCon.
Oh
I'm
wow.
not sure if it was just to get rid of me for a couple days or if it was.
Oh jeez. But that's an awesome Father's Day gift. That's
Oh,
awesome.
it's great. This is a good matchup here too. Well,
That's a good angle. Wow! Sniping him.
Yeah, that's the only. It was a nightmare.
You paralyzed stared me down and then shot me. That was
Yeah,
awesome. Holy moly.
that's why he's great. He's one of my favorite characters too. Because if you hit that paralyzing stare, that's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got left? Like 3 stingers?
5 stingers a hound. Finally got initiative. This is a tough one.
Yeah, this is close. Do you stinger drain a lot? I mean,
No.
no.
I asked many people that, and I was like, do you? Because I don't like stingers. And the only reason I don't like stingers is that because they have stinger drain. I'm like, why would I ever use stingers if they have stinger drain? And like people are like, Joe, you don't use stinger drain. That's the whole point. And it's like, oh. I was like, I was just using it every time. I'm like, why? I mean, I have to take that. If I'm gonna take stingers, I'm gonna have to use stinger drain. Like that's what you do. But no, you don't use stinger drain. You don't ever use stinger drain unless it's absolutely necessary that you think you're in the best position to do that. Otherwise, you don't use stinger drain. No, because their base stats, I mean, attack of 3, defense 3, is phenomenal for 60 points.
Right. For not having height or nothing. Yeah. This will be interesting. This is it probably here.
I mean, that's an easy 4 attack right there from range. That's awesome.
Yeah. Like I said, they're only 60 points. Some of the other squads that people use a lot, you know, they're 80, 85.
Mm-hmm.
60 points. That's amazing. I got down to 2 men.
Yeah, I got the height on you.
Yeah, you're in a good position here at this point.
Is this the last round? Is this it?
I think just about if you take out my Berkshire here.
I rolled a 3. No.
Might be it if I whiff.
Oh.
There you go. That was a great round for you there. Okay, I mean, even then, you have 3 stingers and a hound left. Good game.
Oh, he already had a wound? Oh, wow. Well played, Matt. Well played. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Yeah, I just outnumbered you on that one.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all that was at the end of the day. Because even though I think what took up a majority of your points was taking Q10, which not a problem. Like honestly, I think that's is he 150?
I think he's 150. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could have probably gotten another. I don't remember what the limits were or nothing, but I could have gotten at least another stinger in there, another 1 or 2 stingers in there.
Let's see if I remember correctly. If I type this into my handy dandy calculator, 150, 120 plus 50, 320. Okay, let me try. I had two squads of hounds. That's 180 plus 90.
And I don't know how many stingers you had.
Plus 50. I had 2. Plus 120. 440. What am I missing on your army? Hold on.
I had Nagaxa. I had Q, whichever one he is. I always get them mixed up, like I said.
1, 2, 3.
I think I had 3.
Oh, you had 3 squads of stingers. That's what I missed. I thought you had. No, okay. So that was 180. All right, 180 plus 150 plus 50.
Must have been maybe 480, 380, something like that.
Oh, you had 4 stingers.
Was that what it
Holy
is?
moly! So that's 240 plus 150 plus 50.
And
Yeah,
what was
440. Yeah, okay. We
and
got
what was it?
there.
Yeah, this was good old days. You said.
Good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember what you won for the good old days? Because that was the prize. That was the one that you had to bring a prize for.
Was it the good old days? So this was. Oh, I I know what I won in good old days. I was like one of the last people to pick. I got Harry Potter socks. I think is what I got.
Okay. Harry Potter socks. Okay.
I ended up giving them to my daughter because she loves Harry Potter. Um,
Nice.
I'm trying to remember. There were some really cool prizes. That's always
Yeah.
one of my favorite things is when people bring their own prizes, just to see the
Yeah.
different kinds of things that people bring and stuff.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to play that event. I think it was a really fun concept. I knew that no matter what no matter what I placed, I would have won something.
Yeah.
Right? I thought that was a great idea. And obviously, people told me that like that's why it's called Good Old Days because that's what they did at Gen Con. Before they did any like big prizes or anything like that for winners, like that's how they did a prize pool, is that everyone had to bring a gift.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
That's why they called it good old days.
yes.
Neat.
So I thought, you know what, that's a fun one. I think that's a great one to start off with too, because it feels very casual as well when it comes to that type of winning condition. Essentially, is that you don't know what you're gonna win, but at least you're gonna win something. So play well, but it's not sweaty. Like your palms are not like sweaty.
Right.
Because like when the main event came around, those games.
Yeah, that was tough.
Like
Main
honestly,
event
at
was
that
tough.
point, not again, not again.
Well, I think I played. I can't remember if you played 4 games at first, but you were able to drop out of the main event at one
Right.
point, and then you could
Yeah.
get to the. Can't remember the name of the other one, but I ended up going
Lightweight.
to that one, lightweights, and I had a much better time
Yeah.
in the lightweights because I'll tell you that main event was serious, and you play. I think that was the reverse whip one, right?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's,
That doesn't just test your skill; it tests your knowledge
oh yeah,
more than anything else.
and you need to be able to play with so many different kinds of units,
Mm-hmm.
not just the ones you're used to. Because I think
Yeah.
somebody handed me like the elf pod without the. I'm not great with the names. The flying horse guy, Pegasus.
Oh, Thrakus.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so I got an elf pod without one of the main persons that you need to get the elf pod to work right, and I
Oh.
got slaughtered.
Mm.
Thought
Yeah.
that was
That's
fun. The what we got the lightweights was really good because that
yeah.
was more like a lot of the newer people and stuff. So that was fun.
Sure. Yeah, no, I would obviously do that again. I think obviously playing with a smaller army kind of stinks. But like I said, I feel like it was just way more fun. Like I just had a general good time going up against some people that felt like just like fun. Just hey, shooting the shit. Just
Right.
like.
Yeah. I'll tell you, my favorite was General Wars though. That was cool.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, just because I like Aquila, so I
Oh,
like the
okay.
Aquila people. So I mean that was neat. There were a lot of different ones. There was a couple team ones that were fun. Were you there? Did you get there
I
from the
did.
beginning?
I did play a couple of the three-headed Hydra games. Yes.
Yeah, that was fun too. That was the first night, I think, right?
No, that was the last night.
That was the last night. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was
Um,
fun too.
there might have been another team event, but I don't think I played that one.
I feel like the very first night we got there, I think it was. Did we get there Wednesday night? Yeah, I think Wednesday night there was a team event. No, I'm sorry, not team event. It was a 4-person on each board event.
Right, that was Multiplayer Madness. The first
Yeah, that's
event that
cool.
everyone played was the Multiplayer Madness, which I thought, and I told Mike, I loved that. I think that was so good to start with.
Yeah,
because
you're meeting 3 people right off the bat.
right, exactly. It gets everyone to in and mingle and have this togetherness, just so that when you meet more people after that, you're like, oh, I played against you with this, or I met you with this. It was just a good, meet and greet experience where you're playing HeroScape. I generally thought that was such a good idea for them to do that, and I said, absolutely, you guys should do that next year as well.
Oh, 100%. That made a big deal because you're already meeting so many new people. You already got 3 people every time, and when you probably play 4 times, that was like
Yeah.
a lot of people. I'll tell you another thing, of course. The food there was great too.
Food was really good. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that whole experience was phenomenal. And like I said, right now, if I had the funds and I had the time, I'd absolutely be going. But otherwise, maybe 2025. 2025, I will go back to ScapeCon and do ScapeCon 4.
Well, I think there'll be more popping up. Like there's that Hexicon or Lexicon or whatever it's called.
Yes.
That's gonna be run. I'm thinking of going to that one. And
Okay.
then the online stuff keeps you in it too. The one that Sir HeroScape's doing.
Yes.
And the OST and the name of the other one, but I'm in all. I like to join them because you can play on your own time and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I will put links in the description for everyone at home that wants to take a look at the different online and in-person events. There's a lot going on. HeroScape is not going anywhere. This community is going to keep this game alive. Matt, thank you so much.
Man, thank you, man. Great time.
For hanging out with me and going over our game. Sorry that I beat you by outnumbering you, but
Hey, win's a win, man.
Hey,
but, next year we'll have to have a game again.
Yes, and since I know that you play online, I'd love to play you online. If we can ever get a game in, yes.
Sure, anytime you want to get a game in. I don't know how to set it up all the way, but I'm sure we could figure it out.
No problem. I'll set it up for you, or you can check out my tutorial that I made.
Oh, I don't think I saw that one. I'll have to definitely check that out.
Yeah, go check it out. Check it out. And if you want to learn how to play too, I'll set up a link in the description for you to check it out.
You're going to have a ton of links in this one.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of links in this one. Hey, that's good. More knowledge to the viewer. So,
shit knowledge.
But once again, Matt, thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to play against you again. And for all of you at home, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see out of HeroScape content. And don't forget, I am not crazy. I'm Joe Crazy.